Hello everyone and welcome to the latest video of Trader Talks. Today we are talking about Bitcoin. It's trading below 80,000 and I've had many requests from people to do a video on it, an update on it. So here we are. Remember, if you're on YouTube, like, share, subscribe. If you're on the podcast and you want to follow along, the link is in the bio. The presentation is for educational purposes only and should not be taken as investment advice, a personal recommendation, or an offer of or solicitation to buy or sell any financial instruments. Now, before we go to the chart, which, let's face it, does not look good, let's talk about some of those reasons behind this sell-off. It's obviously trading below 80,000 for the first time since November, down 30% nearly from its high. The tariff updates, which have been bad for risk sentiment. You've had the macro shifts, the liquidations in the Bitcoin market, the crypto market haven't helped and have led to this sell-off. And also there's been persistent ETF outflows as well. Let's have a quick look then at the chart and go through it. For a fair period, really since middle of November, we were in a range, and you can see here quite clearly marking lows and highs, and then we broke through a few days ago, and importantly for that market, a couple of days ago, to the downside anyway, we closed below 87 and a bit thousand, below that range, and we have continued down now with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, currently 6 down days in a row. So what happens from here? Where are the levels worth keeping an eye on? Well, if we go back to November, October last year, you can see we broke out of this trend line, this structure. We retested it, we went higher. It was beautiful. And one thing I would say about Bitcoin is it is very technical. We were in this range, we're very well respected until we broke. So now the key level to the upside, you obviously mark up that key resistance point for now as the main one. You at any point recapture that. That is the opportunity for a lot of traders to potentially get long back to those all-time highs. If we continue down, which you would say sentiment favors that at the moment, you'd be keeping an eye on that high from March in 2024, the high from October, November before we broke through, and that comes in around 72,000. Right now, you'd say you'd be surprised if that doesn't come in. The reaction around there will be very interesting. It could well be that we found a bit of support and then we start pushing to the upside. Or, of course, it does break down and then you have to start saying, well, where is the next level to keep an eye on? I'm just going to drag over this trend line, which we obviously broke through. Another retest of that would look like it's come in and around 64,000. And we drag over another key support point, and you can see that that would come in and around that area. So that's another potential area, another potential point in the market where you might want to keep an eye on. These, of course, are daily charts, but the way it's moved, you can see we're at the beginning of the week at trading above 90,000 and we're now below 80. One good piece of news can change things, of course, a scale back on the tariffs, some favorable PCE data later today. These things can, of course, influence the price, but also there's the opportunity for some people to load up and buy the dip around here. And, you can think of it like that. If it does come back down to that high we saw in March, 72,000, for it to go back up to its high is a 47% move. If it goes down to the retest of the trend line, it would have to recover 66% just to make that high again. So yes, that sounds tough, as in it needs to recover it, but also the glass half full will be saying, well, that's the return you could get from there. Another way to look at this is on the 4-hour chart, and you can see, if we just have a quick look, and this is quite telling, and it just really goes to show that we're in a sort of a bearish structure. You get a break of our key level, the blue line here, the bottom of that range. Price comes down, retests it, buyers can't get us back above, and we sell off. You can then see we find a bit of support, and actually let me just remove that, clear it up. So we find that support point, price comes down, can't get above it, we go lower. Same thing again. Find some support here once, twice. We haven't retested it. So this whole area now becomes super important in the short term for anyone looking at us going a little bit higher from here. So this is what you would want to see. You'd like to see on a daily close certainly at least a 4-hour close anyway. Price come up, reclaim that area, and that be the springboard for that next move to the upside. That's how you could potentially look at it. But at the moment, it's fair to say that bears are in control. Short term, as long as we're below 82,000, that is an area where people would look to sell down to 72. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense, and just some areas to keep an eye on. But zooming out, looking at how it's traded over the last, I mean, really, you could go back to March last year and to the breakout we saw in October, November. It's traded very technically. It respects levels well. Obviously not great right now. Another point to keep an eye on for me would be in and around 75. You can see support, resistance, 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 big break up, and then it could come back down to there. So this whole area this week, at the end of the week, is going to be important. Keep a watch on that as well. Let me know your thoughts in the chat as well. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Be interested to hear and create a conversation. Until next time, take care and have a great weekend.